In other news here that I figured I would go over, well, we have a big thing here. Some of the titans are starting to clash. Apple has terminated Epic Games app developer account following their announcement of building their own app store on iOS in EU. Apple claims Epic Games is verifiably untrustworthy. Again, Epic Games is trying to do their own thing, trying to get around Apple's monopoly. And Apple's like, nah, nope. Guess what? We won't even let you access this. Okay. Again, Apple's crazy monopoly. Okay. And it is ridiculous, right? Is this old? Updated March 7th. Okay. Fortnite players slam petty Apple for bringing end to iPhone users. Let's take a look here. Let me move the chats. Let me move the chat and move my camera up so we can see a little bit better. Go up there. Okay. Fortnite players have been left furious after Epic Games has revealed that Apple terminated their developer account on iOS for iPhone users. After Apple ended up winning the lawsuit against Epic Games, Fortnite has not returned to the iOS App Store since. Even though it was announced that the game would finally returning for European users, Epic has received another major blow. Epic Games has officially announced that their developer accounts have been terminated by Apple. This has left players outraged and fearing that Fortnite will never return to iPhone. Fortnite players furious after Apple terminates Epic's dev account. On March 6, Epic Games announced in an official blog titled, Apple terminated Epic's developer account. We recently announced that Apple approved our Epic Games Sweden AB developer account. We intended to use that account to bring Epic Games Store and Fortnite to iOS devices in Europe, thanks to the Digital Markets Act, DMA. To our surprise, Apple has terminated that account, and now we cannot develop the Epic Games Store for iOS. This is a serious violation of the DMA and shows Apple has no intention of allowing true competition on iOS devices, which is exactly true. Apple is a monopoly. They monopolize everything they own. They do not want competition because that means less revenue, less money for them. Right? I remember they had beef since the Fortnite days. Oh, yeah. Players soon flooded the comments to express their frustrations. One player commented, Epic Games stepping up to build their own store is a pretty bold move, which it is. It is. For Epic Games being like, oh, you won't allow this? Okay, guess what? We're going to make our own app store then. But guess what? Apple, how do you download that? You have to download it through the Apple App Store to download their own Epic Games launcher. And Apple is no bueno. I don't want that. But it's about time someone challenged the status quo. One simply commented, this is so petty and ironic. The joke writes itself. Yeah, it is. It is just, it's crazy. Apple technology, the stuff that Apple makes is really good. The Apple Vision Pro, stuff like that, it's really unique. It's really cool. It's revolutionary. But when it comes down to third parties, Apple hates them. It goes back to what I said about the Apple Vision Pro. Okay, the Apple Vision Pro, the charging cable, the power cable for the headset is literally a cable that you cannot replace. Okay, you can take it out. You got to use special pins and stuff to pop it out of the battery pack, but it's a special fitting that you can't just get another cable easily to replace. If your cable for the Apple Vision Pro gets cut, you have to buy a whole new battery pack. You can't just simply replace that cable. Why? Because Apple doesn't want those third parties. They want it all to monopolize it. They want all the money. They don't want other people getting the money. So when it comes down to developing a Epic Games' own launcher, their own app store for video games so they can have Fortnite on iPhone literally owns an entire iPhone. They own it. So they don't care. They're going to block it because they might lose out on money. They don't like third parties. Apple is ultimately, although they create amazing products, they're a terrible, disgusting company. According to Bloomberg, Apple will face further questioning from the European Union over the accused termination of the Epic Games developer account in Europe. It was reported that Apple has been asked by the EU Commission to provide further explanation for their reasonings behind the termination. And this right here is crazy because this goes back to the Lightning port. Okay? This little cable right here. Okay, this little cable right here, it goes back to this, okay? Because ultimately, this little lightning port cable is a very unique cable that Apple created so that you have to buy their Apple cables. They want you to buy their stuff so that they can make more money. But guess what? In EU, there was a major law passed, or there was some major policy or something like that passed that required Apple to change their port. If they didn't change their port, they could no longer sell the iPhone in Europe. That was huge. So guess what? Apple caved in because obviously they would lose out on millions and millions and billions of dollars probably, okay? So with the iPhone 15, they released it with a USB-C port, just like all your Android phones having a USB-C port, basically. The iPhone 15 having a USB-C port so that they could sell it in Europe because they literally wouldn't be able to sell iPhones in Europe if they didn't change it. We're going to need something like that again to happen. Okay. EU is fighting the US and stuff like that. They really don't care what they do. The monopolies, we welcome them. Right. But the EU is over there like, nah, I don't think so. We're not letting this fly, dude. So major props to the EU for, actually giving it to them. As well as this, it was said that the regulators were examining whether Apple's behavior may have fallen foul of other digital rules over transparency with business users. Yes. At the time of writing, Apple has not responded to the situation regarding the termination of Epic's developer account or what it means for the future of Fortnite on iPhone devices. And here's what it is. Guess what? Here's what it is. What could they possibly say as an explanation as to why they terminated the developer account? What could their possible explanation be besides, hey, that's competition, we don't want that, they're taking away from money from us, we don't want that? What could they possibly say? Nothing. So I have a feeling that this will be overturned or whatever, and Apple is either going to have to allow them to do this, or again, the EU is going to really throw a fit. And if they throw a big enough fit where they ban Apple devices or whatever, Apple's going to cave. They have to cave. Otherwise, they're losing out on millions and millions and millions of dollars, which obviously they don't like. Apple loves their money and being money hogs and monopoly and all that junk. So yeah, I figured I would kind of throw this out there for you though, because again, Apple does not surprise me, and they make amazing products, but they just fall bad with everything else. So I figured I would throw that out there for you. Tell me what you think down below.